りの中交わし合った革命のちぎり誰にも邪魔させるわけにはいかないいつか僕が見せてあげる光り輝く世界を
Welcome to a new episode of Indie Talks, in which I'm hosting movie makers from indie world, actors, stuntmen, fight choreographers, fight coordinators, performers to discuss their work, influences, compulsion they're facing, of course, experiences, achievements, and advices. Today's guest is an American Vietnamese movie maker, action designer, fight choreographer, fight coordinator. He's well known for his work in Shang-Chi, Night of the Zodiac, Twisted Tiger, and many more. He's making a good name for himself in the industry in the recent years. I welcome Mr. Joseph Lee. How is it going, Joseph?
Thanks,
Welcome.
Good. Thanks for having me, Tarek.
Finally, it's time to, Yeah, brother, it's a great pleasure having you finally. You're one of the talented people I was really excited about to bring, and I have been following your work for quite a while, and I find it very interesting and fun to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you highlighting so many great artists I look up to. So, yeah.
Yeah, great pleasure, brother. Nice to meet you finally, brother. I know you have a Vietnamese origins, of course. Were you born in Vietnam and moved later to the States, or you were born in the States from immigrants' parents?
Yeah, I was born in Virginia, Northern Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, my parents actually came to the U.S. During the Vietnam War to escape the communists.
Yeah.
And they actually met in Biloxi, Mississippi at a wedding. And then they kind of met and then exchanging letters for months and months. And then finally, decided to get married and have me in Virginia. But I grew up speaking all Vietnamese. And there's actually old videotapes of me looking back. I'm like, oh, what did I say there? Because all of a sudden they totally made me just speak English only.
Okay.
Most of the time, because they didn't want me to have an accent growing up and get bullied or teased like how they did, going into the States.
Yeah.
But I still got bullied and teased anyway.
Yeah, that's happened. I think, in the States, a lot of racist actions, of course, happen.
Yeah,
against Asian people and Arab people and other nationalities, of course.
Yeah, a lot of minorities. And I was the only Asian in my school for a while until I went to high school. So it was just a lot of me being kind of a little alienated and trying to figure out my own identity.
Okay. Tell me, Joseph, do you have a martial art background?
Yes. I had a martial arts background, and I started when I was 15 years old, around 2005. And that was after I was watching some YouTube videos of Bruce Lee. This is when YouTube was happening, watching Bruce Lee videos, EMC monkeys, very inspired by Zin Wuku.
Okay.
Now I really want to do what he's doing.
Yeah, like him. Yeah, I think.
In Milan. Yeah. Used to watch their videos how I would watch Saturday morning cartoons. Just before I would do anything, I would pop in an EMC video and just feel supercharged and do my thing. But yeah, I started learning Dragon Fist Kung Fu called Lung Chun Fa under my Sifu Doug Moffat. And did that, got a black sash. And in between that, I was learning breakdancing in high school with my friends.
Yeah, really interesting.
And then afterwards, I kind of took a break from Kung Fu And I went back into it in 2013 and started learning Shaolin Kung Fu in Herndon, Virginia.
Yeah.
At the same time, took some parkour classes and urban evolution. And after that, just learning bits and pieces from my martial arts peers here and there.
Yeah. So there is a diversity in your martial art background.
Yes, but it's mostly based in Kung Fu. I'm trying to learn more.
Yeah, really cool. And how did that contributed in movie making? I mean, your career and making action.
Yeah, so I started making action kind of like in 2014, like late 2014.
Okay. Yeah.
That was actually after I got my heart broken really bad. And so I had my own villain phase, like Majin Vegeta phase, like, I will show her, like, and started overtraining. So I was doing heavy weightlifting, a lot of parkour, kung fu, but not getting a lot of rest or sleep. So I injured this, and then both my legs.
Oh, yeah.
And had to do like physical therapy for over like a year.
Yeah, it's difficult.
And it seemed like I couldn't like heal up. And so I was like, I need another like outlet. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy. And so I started volunteering and shadowing my filmmaking friends on their commercials, their independent, projects, and just like learning bit by bit and how to tell a story. And I remember meeting up with my writer friend, Peter Woojin King. And I was like, I really want to tell my own stories and, express myself. And how do you think I should do this? And then he told me like, oh, you should make films about Kung Fu. I was like, what? I don't want to do like the whole stereotypical thing, like, because I'm Asian and I want to make like romantic dramas and stuff like that. But he said like, no, like if you make films about Kung Fu, it will be authentic because it's what you've been doing for over a decade, and it will come across as honest, and you should do something that's your hobby anyway, and it will like translate on screen in a more authentic way. So I was like, okay, let me do that for a while, and then I'll focus on other stuff. And it ended up me being like focusing on action for a long time. But in between, I would dabble into other genres. But yeah, I got into action filmmaking. Through that, I posted a little short snippet called Kung Fu Comb. And it's just like me combing my hair in like a Kung Fu like type of way.
Yeah, I think I have seen that on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, and I kind of copied the shot design from Metal Gear Solid 4 after Raiden like killed all the geckos, and after that he did like his short sword unsheathing thing. But I didn't have a sword, so like I just did it with my comb, like.
Yeah.
I just posted that small thing, and then that was my first time doing sound design. And then my friend, or not my friend, but my friend's brother saw the clip on Instagram, and then he was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I make some fight films, test fights on the side. Like, let's collaborate. So we met up and we started talking about collaborations and stuff. And then all of a sudden there was like this YouTube competition from Riot Films or something like that. Like the best hand-to-hand fight scene competition. And the winner can get like $1,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Like we started striving for that. And I did my first test fight with him in his basement with his MMA friend, Francis Torres. And so we shot like a little thing for like 6 to 8 hours. And in the video, you can see like I still had like a cast on my arm.
Yeah, from the injury.
Mm-hmm, yeah, but through like editing and shot design, I was able to get away with some moves and like two-shotting everything. And I was like, wow, this is action filmmaking. I can kind of like, I don't have to do everything in one take, like as a performance. I can just be very clever. and using my humor and, unique props, it made like the whole video more special than, originally. And so we finished the fight in the basement, and then all of a sudden he told me about Eric Jacobus, Marshall Club, put up all those videos on the laptop. And afterwards I was just like, what? Like my whole mind was blown. Like I saw Eric Jacobus's like Google Glass video.
Yeah.
I was like super clever. And it was like, all of it was very much inspired by Jackie Chan stuff, the stuff I grew up with. And I just went on a new binge, like revisiting the old Jackie Chan movies I watched as a teenager, but now as like 25-year-old or something like that. And I literally cried. I was like bawling. Like I cried while watching Drunken Master 2. I cried watching Rumble in the Bronx again. I was like, wow, this is what I want to do with my life now. Like, this is so cool. That's how it all started. And just every weekend, we started shooting something just for fun. And we would shoot always at a new location. And the location would kind of inspire the idea.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because everyone in LA just picks the forest to shoot at. And it kind of like drives me nuts. I'm like, I don't feel inspired being in the same park over and over again.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah. So it's funny, like every weekend, I always wanted to challenge myself. And I knew I needed to catch up because all I knew was Kung Fu. So I would invite a friend who's like a Taekwondo expert, and I would kind of like fight him. And then he would like teach me some, kicking combinations. And I would also teach the Taekwondo guy like about, framing and screen fighting. So in a way, I was building up my fight coordinating and how to teach other people while they would teach me new martial arts. And then the next weekend, I would fight like a judo guy. He would throw me down. I would learn some like recs and falls from him. And just, every weekend, just keep pushing myself and learning. And eventually I found my own group called Turtle Wave. And we did a lot of like VFX stuff, action comedy stuff, like live action anime stuff inspired by Chris Cowan and 1,000 Pounds. But of course, like our talent is like nowhere near good. So we had to be more clever and just, that's how it all kind of.
What was the first camera you did use, Joseph, for making films?
The first camera I used was Canon 70D.
Oh, yeah?
I remember it was like a very big purchase. And I actually was doing the test fights, practice fights. And then all of a sudden, I broke my ankle. Trying to show off in public and doing a V-twist. And I landed really badly. And this was when I was waiting to watch the movie Ex Machina.
Ah, yeah.
I actually watched that, but sorry, that's a weird tangent. But yeah, I injured myself yet again. And so I was like, all right, let me just learn how to highlight other people. So I got the 70D Canon. It's a very big purchase. I remember I shot like a fight called Cripple Fight with my friend who I was fighting with, and he also got injured through basketball, like the same thing I got injured. Yeah. So we had to scrap our fight that we're making called Pizza Fight, and it's like a 7-minute long, like Three Stooges, Dragons Forever-ish fight. But yeah, I got the camera and I shot something called Cripple Fight to kind of channel what we're experiencing, in real life. And I realized that I shot the whole thing in low shutter speed, like 1/30 and sometimes 1/40 the whole time.
Yeah.
So I had to reshoot the whole thing yet again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first time shooting, and I think 2016. And I really liked it because I had the power to be like, okay, one more take, give me one more, instead of like kind of like trying to politely ask the cameraman, "Oh, can I have one more, please?" Like I can call all the shots, and it's very empowering. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the key. It's that's how to learn is to repeat and make mistakes and fails all the time.
Yeah. But beforehand, for like a year and a half, I was just mostly just performing. And actually, when I would show my films to our film friends, like in person, they'd always like give kudos and credit to the camera guy. Or like, "Oh, I love that choreography. I love the storytelling." I was like, wait, that was like mostly me. Like, and they would only just see me as like, the talent. So I just wanted to prove myself, like, I have great ideas. I'm able to orchestrate, this fight scene. So yeah, I think that was when I started developing my own like style and my own vision for things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And, I know. A screen performer always should maintain the best shape possible as yourself. What is your current training routine, your regiment?
Yeah. So usually, when I'm consistent, I would start off with just some shadow boxing, like doing some warm-ups.
Yeah.
And jump rope, doing some like basic wushu kicks, and then like taekwondo kicks. Like I would go down the lines and stuff like that. And then I would do some basic like Shaolin forms. Yeah. And then after that, do some weightlifting, whatever like, body group I'm working on. And then after that, like stretching. And but sometimes I would like, that's basically it.
Yeah, really important to have a good shape for a performer, even for a movie director and camera operator.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg's, one of his best advice is just to get in shape when you're preparing for a film, because it's a lot of endurance. And also it depends on like the film that I'm prepping for. Like if it's like a particular theme that requires like different set of training, I would try to do that. If it's like more wushu based choreography, I'll do more wushu. And if it's like more grounded choreography, I'll do more, kickboxing and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool. That's really great, brother. What can you tell me about the old generation of indie action cinema, like Zero Gravity, Vlad, Eric Jacobs, Stunt People, AMC Monkeys, and all those teams?
Yeah, so like in the indie stunt community, I kind of came into it late in the game. I kind of discovered them late 2014.
Yeah.
And but beforehand, I only knew of AMC Monkeys. I really worship them since like I saw Zenwuku on E-Bomb's World. I tried to like this. I got my hairstyle just from like Zenwuku.
Inspired from
even like my fashion, it always has to be like red and black. And I wanted to wear my sash to school, but then my dad told me like, "Oh no, like people will challenge you and try to beat you up. What are you trying to show off?" and stuff like that. And he was right. It was like a little too extra. But yeah, just 2005, I really looked up to them. And then I saw other stuff like Team Ryuko.
Team Ryuko.
I think, in Canada.
Tricking, teammating.
Yeah. But I would see them and other groups trying to like come up. And I'm like, nah, EMC Monkeys is the best. Like, I would, watch them.
Yeah.
But it's cool. As a fan, I saw like Zin perform at the Jackie Chan competition in China, where they were trying to search for the next like action star or something like that. So I was like a pretty much of a fan, like trying to watch them and imitate them. And I would always try to grab like my friends from my kung fu class and try to shoot our own thing. But I would quickly realize like 1 or 2 hours into it, they're like, is it done yet? Like, I'm tired. I'm like, okay. Like, never mind. Let's just go back to training. Yeah.
I know you've been part of many action shorts on your YouTube channel. This kind of films allow a good margin of creativity, of course. Even though the very small budget, there is a lot of great talented people around the world making this kind of YouTube action shorts. How could you describe your experience in this genre so far?
Oh, genre of action?
Yeah.
Filmmaking?
Indie. Yeah, small budget.
Yeah, indie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel very fortunate to be a part of this whole indie stunt community. I feel like just being in LA for about 3 years now, I've gotten to know other film circles and indie filmmaking outside of action, just drama and like all those things. But I feel like there's no other community that I feel like that just churns out and empowers people to create so much on their own. Like people who want to do their own films within the indie stunt community, they shoot, edit, choreograph, act, direct their own stuff. And everyone's like very encouraged to do their own thing. And it's so many people are very fearless, you know. And so just like there's so much support whenever I go to like joining all movement, or like when I have an idea, there's always like people who are just down to volunteer, you know, wreck hard and really contribute a lot of great choreography ideas. But I kind of started my own thing, you know, obviously in Virginia with like a group of people who are sick and tired of their usual 9-to-5s. And we always looked up to Manny and Vlad stuff out in the West Coast, you know, since 2015. And we would just be making our own thing. We would pull up to random parking garages and fight until like 4 a.m. or fight until the cops see us. Yeah. They tell us like we had to shoot somewhere else. And then I had to go to my parents' basement and then shoot something there. But yeah, it was just like no other feeling than just to fight for no reason with your brothers. And then after like a long, hard day of shooting and filmmaking, we would just go to an IHOP and eat and laugh and just do it again like the next week. And then just like hoping that it would catch the right eyes from the people in LA or New York City, and hoping that these YouTube videos will amount to hopefully a career, you know, down the road. Because we're all trying to like get out of our office jobs. But yeah, we would make something and be continuously inspired by the people that put out their stuff. Especially, like Manny, Vlad, Brian Sawyer, Jaquan, like so many great people. Yeah,
I think there is a lot of compassion and a lot of support from everyone in the stunt and movie community there. You know, once one of you, for example, posts a new video, new film, everyone share it in their stories and tag people. That's really important.
Yeah, it's cool that it was cool. Sorry. But yeah, and then all of a sudden, you know, I built up my Team Red Pro. Yeah, I have my own filmmaking indie collective called Team Red Pro, and I made it in 2015 when there was like a 48-hour film competition. And then they gave me like a paper to like sign up. And then I was writing all this stuff, all the credentials, and at the end it was like, what is your group's name? I was like, My friend was like, yo, Joseph Lee Films. I'm like, nah, it's not all about me. Like, you guys are just volunteering 48 hours of, you know, grueling filmmaking. Let's we're a team. Team, I like the color red. And productions. I was like, Team Red Pro.
Yeah.
But after that, we kind of like, it became a thing, you know? So yeah, fast forward, we developed a project called Afro Samurai Champloo.
Yeah.
With my friend Robin Calvo as Mugen and my friend Terrell Kota Book. Yeah, he's amazing. As Afro Samurai. Because like during one time we were at Open Gym and Terrell let his hair out and it was like a crazy like afro going on.
Yeah, I've seen that short with that crazy hair. It was really, it gave a special vision for the movie.
Yeah,
I like it.
We just had a photo shoot with like the cosplay outfits, and that photo shoot got everyone excited, and they're like, "Oh, when is the movie coming out? When is the movie coming out?" And just originally it was like a one-on-one, like a fan film between them, but it got so much attention from West Coast people, New York people, a bunch of people. We're like, you know what? Let's just make a web series. Yeah, we got so many people passionate about the original series, like Samurai Champloo, Afro Samurai, you know, martial arts and the hip hop, you know, genre. And I thought I could like combine the two and make something unique. I was like, I really want to make something that's inspired by the music and choreograph to the music and let the beats, you know, hit during the breaks of the music. So we were like, okay, let's write like a web series, but we want like top tier talent to help us, of course. So we decided to fly out to the West Coast and film a bunch of stuff there. And it was kind of stupid though, because at the time I remember it was like February or March, and it was like super cold in Virginia. And we're like, there's no way we can film outside. We're just like freezing the whole time.
Yeah.
So like, you know what? It's probably sunny all the time in LA. So let's go shoot there.
That's true.
But at the same time, it was really cold in LA at the time. So we're just shooting like really cold weather. It was like 50 degrees there, but ish. But you know, LA is technically a desert. So it's really cold, but we had so many people volunteer and help out and play the bandits in black to fight Terrell and Robin. And they were so generous, and you know, they've only known me from me posting online, and finally I got to meet a lot of people in person. But yeah, so unfortunately we didn't finish filming the whole thing in the West Coast. So I had to go back home, and I looked through 10 different parks, Virginia and DC. Yeah. And trying to match the location with the locations we shot in the West Coast.
Of course, yes. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, but I fooled a lot of people and they couldn't tell the difference. So we reshot a lot of stuff in Virginia, and we got the whole like stunt community together to help us finish the project. And it's very special because after that, it kind of opened the doors into my professional career to action filmmaking. Yeah, it got, so.
Really interesting one. I remember watching that short Afro Champloo. It was really nice one. I think you did many parts of that, many sequels, I think.
Yeah, there were 3 parts, and then after that we posted like a super cut. But yeah, it took a lot out of me because I remember at the time I was also storyboarding for a creative agency, and I was storyboarding for the Death Stranding TV spots and the Last of Us 2 TV spots.
Okay.
And, you know, even though it's like something that's like 30 seconds, it required like 10 different versions and so many iterations. And it was very taxing, and but somehow managed to pull it off. You know, after I would work full time at the office, I would be staying there past 7 o'clock to like 11 p.m. just like storyboarding for Afro Samurai Champloo and trying to look up references. And then on the weekend, I would go to the open gym and try to prep choreography with the core team members of Team Red, like Terrell and Robin. And so, yeah, it was a lot of late nights, 4 hours per day, sleep schedule, but it helped break the mold in terms of my own career. And it's funny because like at the same time, I was collaborating back and forth with Marshall Club. Even though I flew to the West Coast to work on my own film, I stayed there for a little bit and I made the short film called Kawaii Death Metal God with Brian Lay and Andy Lay with Marshall Club. And it's funny because I met them in 2018 when I went to the Shaolin Temple. There was like a Shaolin training camp being hosted by Philip Zahagan, who is a part of the OG EMC Monkeys generation, right? And so he posted it online and Marshall Club helped promote it. And I saw it on the YouTube channel and they were filming like training vlogs. And then they're like, if you miss out on this Shaolin training camp, then you're missing out. Like, and I was like, wow, I really want to meet them. Like, because they pretty much inspired me, you know? We had the same last name. We're both like Vietnamese American. We both love Kung Fu and stuff. I was like, this is my chance to meet them and, you know, go to the mecca of martial arts. So I applied and got into the training camp and I met them and right away we hit it off. And we're just talking about like, how do you come up with choreography? How do you come up with like choreography? And then, it just seemed like we were speaking the same language. And after that, we just started like texting each other back and forth. And all of a sudden, Brian Lay showed me this like random video clip of him in like a schoolgirl outfit.
Yeah, I think I have seen that. Yeah.
Then he did like a sticky like sidekick in the air. He was like, you know, flashed the camera a little bit. And then I was like, yo, what the hell is this? And then he texted me. He was like, if you can come up with a short film idea for this outfit, then you can direct it for Marshall Club. I was like, oh shit. Wow. And so I came up with like 7 different ideas and in a Google Doc and I presented it to them and they really liked one of the ideas. And so I came up with like a little outline of how it would be like guy getting bullied and turns into like this.
Yeah, I have seen that one as well. Yeah. And Elias, the bullied guy.
Yeah. So like, I traveled over there. I shot a music video for Alexia first.
Yeah.
And afterwards, you know, shot the short film with Marshall Club. And at the time, Andy was injured. He like hurt his heel or something like that.
Okay.
And at the time, Brian was trying to direct more of his own stuff and help take some of the creative ownership of Marshall Club and grow into his own, you know, creator. And so I was there to help. And it was fun. This is like one of the rare shorts where Andy doesn't do any of the fighting, you know. And if you can watch back in the clips in the short film, he was kind of like limping the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting time for him. He was, at the same time, he was taking a lot of acting classes and doing a lot of stuff that would occupy him because he couldn't like go all out on his training. And for Brian to develop into his own, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we talked about, we were hanging out, training together, talking about like horror and action and how cool it would be if those two would combine. And we watched together The Nun, the movie, movie theater.
I have seen the movie, the action short inspired from The Nun. the martial club. It was really
Literally
hilarious.
Yeah, thank you. And afterwards, we're like, oh shoot, let's just shoot our own nun parody. So the same day we went to like a sex shop. Yeah.
Yeah,
In order to buy like a blow up doll.
Yeah.
And then like in there, it was so funny. Like he saw a bunch of like dildos like hanging, and he would be like using it as like boxing. They're just so crazy and fun to be around. But anyway, we bought the blow up doll, the nun outfit, the makeup, and then that same night we just shot for like 4 hours. Just what would be like if we beat up the nun, because like we were watching the nun together, and we're like, Brian would be like, "Oh, I would just kick the shit out of her." Like, if I was there, I was like,
let's do it.
Yeah, but with Brian, it's like no holds barred, like no filter, just like, raw creativity, and I just love collaborating with him. We released it like the day afterwards and got a great response. And fast forward like years later, like when they're doing Everything Everywhere All at Once on set,
it was
Brian showed. Yeah,
it was really successful.
Brian showed
movie.
Yeah, definitely. And Brian showed like the nun parody to Michelle Yeoh, and she was like dying from laughter. And then he showed me the clip, and I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And actually, they showed the Daniels, the directors of Everything Everywhere All at Once, the Kawaii Death Metal God short film that I directed, before they were like, in serious talks to help choreograph for that movie and be in it.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. Let's discuss some of your other films, like Twisted Tiger. I know you've directed and produced this movie, I think. We start, of course, we'll talk about Twisted Tiger. It is one of my favorites, of course. It was very enjoyable and satisfying. How did you come up with the idea of Twisted Tiger?
The idea was a long journey. I started developing the idea when I went to the Shaolin Temple and met Terrell. And he was just talking about his upbringing and how he learned Kung Fu under his father.
Yeah.
He was training since he was 3 years old. And I found out that his father had like a dojo in the middle of the hood in Richmond, Virginia, right? And it was kind of like a safe haven for a lot of people, a lot of young men growing up. And it was a way for them to get away from all the things at the streets, drug dealing and all that sort of things. And he showed me like old photos of him like training, Shaolin Kung Fu under his dad. I was like, wow, I really want to make a movie about your life, man. And I always thought about it. It was always in the back of my head. And then finally, he moved to the West Coast because he got onto Cirque du Soleil, Las Vegas. And then afterwards, I moved to the West Coast after working on Shang-Chi. And it was right in the middle of the pandemic, 2021, like January. And I was going back and forth with my writer, Nick Huang, who is also based in the DMV in Maryland. And we thought of something called Praying Mantis. And it was like an action comedy starring Terrell. Actually, rewind back. Sorry. We wanted to make a pilot film for Rush Hour 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And then actually it was based on Lee and Carter's sons and how their paths intersect. And so Terrell was going to play Chris Tucker's son.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the backstory of this pilot was like Chris Tucker's character went to China because he fell in love with, a Chinese woman. And then his son was brought up into like learning Kung Fu and stuff. And he would meet like Lee's son in the streets of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And Lee's son was actually like rebelling against his father. Like, oh, my father always wanted me to be a cop and so on. and but instead he became like a, you know, a thug or something. And so yeah, the paths would cross, and I was like, you know what? I've been making fan films since 2014. Like I don't want to base my creativity based on someone else's IP, intellectual property. And so I was like, you know what? I want to make something original. And also I don't want to be like compared to Reanime or even like Hollywood for just remaking. Same thing. And so I made an action comedy script based on Terrell, you know.
Yeah.
And like a praying mantis. Like he always had a pet praying mantis. And I showed the script to my friend Dominique Smith, who's a great filmmaker and stunt performer. He was on Black Panther. And he read the script, and, you know, he had an upbringing in the hood as well. And then he's put it down, and this is in person. I was at his apartment. He was like, what are you trying to say with your film? And at the end, I thought to myself, like, wow, maybe I should go deeper with this. So I did some self-reflection and thought about how I would always hold on to a lot of grudges and how it would eat me up inside, you know. A lot of past beef I had, I would still hold it on my shoulder. And in a way, I would have like flashes of like bad memories and such with people. And of course, during the pandemic, you know, the whole world was going crazy with BLM, Asian hate, like all the riots and stuff.
I remember those incidents against Asian people made the pandemic. A lot of Asian people had incident attacks from racists people and all that.
Yeah, it brought back a lot of conversations where, you know, my parents would be bullied because they're immigrants. And my mom actually, she came over and went to Biloxi, Mississippi, you know, and stayed in the projects where they would put a lot of immigrant people, and they would put them in a lot of like Black neighborhoods. So there was a lot of like tension going on too, like, oh, they're taking our jobs, and you know, it's a whole nother conversation. But I decided to reconnect with people whom I had past beef with during this pandemic. I would like call them up, FaceTime them, and be like, you know, hash it out, because, you know, the whole world is, you know, flipped upside down. Like, screw it. Like, you know, we don't really have that strong of a beef. Like, we're all trying to just connect at the end of the day. And so I thought about the themes of self-forgiveness, you know, baggage and PTSD. And I thought, I looked at the whole Kung Fu cinema like landscape of things. I was like, wow, okay. Most action stars now lately in modern movies, they're so invincible. Like, you know, Donnie Yen and he's like flawless. Like whenever he gets into it in a one-on-one fight, I already know he's gonna win. And there's not so much of like you don't really get to see the mental health or like their dark side in terms of like their own psychology. So I wanted to make a story about a flawed Sifu and how he's battling his own demons, just like how I was doing so myself. And so I kind of used Terrell's character as a catalyst to tell that story. And so it's very personal for me, but also it spoke to, you know, what society was going through. And so we filmed it early pandemic. No, wait, not early pandemic, but 2021. And at the time, it was like a few months after I moved to LA. And of course, I moved during the pandemic. I was like, all right, what's going on? I want to work, but nobody's working.
Yeah,
like, what should I do here? Yeah. So just moving to LA felt really intimidated by all the awesome talent around me. I'm like, wow, I really look up to all these people. Like, how do I fit in? Like, I just came into the game very late as a filmmaker. I felt the imposter syndrome, and I felt the need to really prove myself and contribute something to the indie action film community, my own story. But yeah, so that happened. And at the same time, Andy Chang was telling me like, oh, I'm going to get you on this movie called Knights of the Zodiac. It's about this old anime. Do you know about it, Saint Seiya? And it was supposed to happen in November, and then got pushed back because of COVID. November, December, January. I'm like, all right, at this point, maybe this movie is not happening, so I wasn't getting any work. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to put my savings into something I'm passionate about and see what happens. So it's crazy. Like at the same time, I was communicating with Brad Allen to help him develop a movie that he was going to shoot in London. It was Argyle, actually. And he wanted to give me like a salary and make me learn like Unreal Engine and help him do a lot of things remotely because of COVID, right? And there was a point when developing that movie was getting very serious, and that he wanted to fly me out to work on some previs and stuff like that. But I was like, Brad, I'm actually making a movie called Twisting Tiger, and we're about to shoot soon. And it has some like themes of Buddhism and stuff like that. And I remember working on Shang-Chi, who would send me some Buddhist like proverbs and like random prayers. I was like, oh, yeah. And just like talking to him, like I started thinking more about Buddhist values and stuff like that. I was like, Brad, like I'm making this thing and it's going to channel this theme that very passionate about, like Buddhism, Shaolin Kung Fu. Like, hopefully I can make this and finish it and it'll work for you. Like, but schedule wise, it was at the same time. Yeah. And it's a very difficult situation because I'm new. Yeah. I'm new to like working as a professional in the stunt world. I could use any gig I could get. And then he messaged me. He's like, follow your passion and let me know how it goes, and you can come to me after you're done. I was like, okay, sweet. But yeah. So
yeah, that was it. Like it was devastating to lose Brad Allen, who passed away a few years ago. How did you receive the news?
It was very shocking, very polarizing. We received the news when we were making Knights of the Zodiac in Budapest with Andy Chang. Yeah. So I met Andy Chang when I was working in Shang-Chi, and maybe we can talk about that later. And so like Andy Chang, he kind of like saw my anime action design and hired me for this Budapest gig. But it was like right in the middle of filming that movie when we found out. We were in the hotel room late at night and the news struck us, right?
Yeah.
But we had to work the next day, and we were like, damn, we really need to look out for Indica. We say Indica as Andy Big Brother. Yeah, that's their name for him. But we're like, we really need to look out for him because, yeah, it's probably going to hit him the hardest. So we went to set the next day, and Andy had like his sunglasses on the whole time.
Yeah.
Because we could tell he was like holding back tears. And you know what? We just went really hard that day. And, we were thinking like, oh, this is for Brad. Like, we will go hard for him in his honor to tribute him. But it was tough. Like, it made everyone.
He was a healthy guy. To have a heart attack. I think he died from a heart attack, I believe. Right?
Yeah, it was a heart attack.
It was very shocking.
Yeah, but we heard about like, oh, he was in the hospital. He's trying to like, you know, not so good condition, and we kept checking on him every week, and finally, you know, he sadly passed away. But
okay. So he
it
was
brought,
in hospital. I thought he died.
yeah, but he was still like in a coma or something like that.
Okay.
And sometimes they would get a response and not, yeah. And but it brought us closer together. Andy became like a big father figure for the stunt team. It was like me, Jaquan, Caitlin, Brandon H. Lee, Terrell, Jerry Quill, Brandon Ballou. We were all like in the indie stunt community, and then Andy Chang just decided to like, you know, build this team together.
Yeah.
And we got really close. We became a family, and Andy was just emphasizing like, you never know what could happen tomorrow. Your brother could pass away, and you know, yeah, it was hard.
May you rest in peace, of course. Let's talk about one of your others shorts, like Mulan East Side Story. It is an action musical short. Its title was inspired, I think, from West Side Story in the Mulan movie. How did you come up with this concept? I know it's inspired from two movies. What can you tell about it?
Yeah, so inspired by me collaborating a lot with Leroy Nguyen from Rising Tiger Films. I feel like you should definitely interview him later.
Okay.
But yeah, he always played this like mob type gangster character, like a big boss type of dude. And I've always wanted to direct him, that character, into one of my own films. And so we would just be doing our test fights regularly. I'm helping out with his own films. And all of a sudden, in the news, Disney announced the new live action Mulan. It was like crazy. It was big. And then there was another news article where it said like there will be no singing in the movie. We're like, what? How can they do this to us? Like the song "I'll Make a Man Out of You" is like one of my best songs, like used for like gym motivation and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that's tragic. That's sad. And of course, it was sung by Jackie Chan, so I love it even more. And we just thought about like, you know what? What if we made our own Mulan musical, but it's like grounded and like more gangster and channeling like triad stuff from like the Hong Kong movies. And it would be like, you know what? Let's just make it, because we're so sad about it. And we see all these people complaining on Facebook. We're like, okay, we're going to do something about it. We're not just going to be like keyboard warriors. So me and my music composer, Alex Kane, we started developing the lyrics, and we just had so fun with it that we made like a whole song, and the song was sitting with us for a while. I think we made it in 2017. And then after I came back from Shang-Chi, I went back home, and I was like, you know what? I want to show you guys like what I learned from Marvel and kind of apply it to all the homies from back at home, right? And I wanted to show them the Marvel process of like pre-production, you know, making previses and stuff like that. And but yeah, we started making it in 2020 in February. Yeah, we started February, and we filmed in March. And I think it was like 4 days of filming, and all of a sudden COVID hit, and everything was shut down. Literally a couple of days after we wrapped. And it was so funny because I flew my buddy Alan Deng from the West Coast to come help us. And at the time, there were like 2 COVID cases in Los Angeles. And he like came onto set like coughing like, I had COVID, guys, just kidding. And everyone was like, what's COVID? Like, is it a real thing? And we're like, joking about it and like coughing on set. And we were filming in a warehouse with a bunch of like Chinese like products, and we are just joking around about the whole thing, you know. And all of a sudden it was real and everything shut down. But we just finished rapping and I edited the whole thing, and the music was done. I was like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
but I really need to color this. So I went to my friend's place, my friend's apartment, Sammy Yoon, to help me color grade, because he works for like Volkswagen and he got an Emmy for something he edited for them. So I really wanted the best color grade. And then I remember I came back home after a color grading session. My mom was like, where were you? You're not supposed to be out there. COVID this, COVID that. I'm like, oh, it's okay. Well, I only met with him and I made sure like I covered my mouth when I was outside. And, but yeah, we just wanted to show that, you know, show Disney that we could make something with like $8,000 that could be better than something that had like over 200 million spent on it. And, but yeah, it was also a way for me to give back to the indie filmmaking community that helped me achieve the feat of, you know, Shang-Chi. And yeah, I got a lot of old friends, new friends together. The dance community in Virginia, you know, martial arts community. We had Sam Jun Lee on board. It was amazing. Yeah. And sadly, when the community was like so tight-knit, that COVID came in and just all of a sudden we were separated once again. But yeah, afterwards we still kept in touch. Every weekend we would go on Discord and we would have something called Team Reducation. And so everyone would present something to the team, their specialty or something that they learned that month. Yeah, so it's cool.
Yeah, really cool, brother. Interesting.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. Like Leroy had to like sing and fight at the same time. So we had to previs with like a temp track of just temporary singing and the temporary like beat, but it would follow the same tempo. Yeah, it was like a pseudo music video, and it was like the first time Team Red had like a female lead protagonist.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, and her name's Jackie Kim, very talented actress, and picks up screen fighting really easily. And we had to really train her, and in order to become Mulan for like a whole month. Yeah. Yeah. So at the same time, I was storyboarding, rewriting the script, trying to get free locations from the community, and also check back on her training. It was a lot. Yeah, we had all different departments going in all at once, and we're all communicating on Slack. So it was crazy. 1 month of pre-production just for 4 days of filming. Yeah. And I remember my project manager was like, why do you want to film in March? Like, why in a rush? Like, why not just shoot in June? And I was saying like, well, everyone's fired up right now. Like if we wait, you know, by the time when we shoot, everyone's going to be tired of the idea and tired of listening to the song. So yeah, for some reason, there was an instinct within me that I was like, we need to shoot in March. Yeah, and so I'm glad we did because COVID happened.
Indeed, yes.
Crazy. Yeah.
You're lucky with that. Indeed. Let's talk about Showdown in Tiny Tokyo. It's a short fight scene you did with Jaquan and Tarek. It's really interesting. How you use it? Your camera operating and the lighting. It was beautiful to watch. When did you film that?
We filmed that on July 4th. I think last year or something like that. I forgot. But it was on July 4th. And I remember I was living with them at the time. We were roommates. And we were talking like, do you have any July 4th plans? Nope. And we were like, okay, let's just shoot something. And originally it was like, okay, how about we just do katana versus broadsword? Yeah, that's a solid concept. We just wanted to shoot something. And then all of a sudden, my friend, Andy Chen, he's a cinematographer and director in LA. He showed some preview photos of like a new location he was developing. And it was called Tiny Tokyo. I was like, whoa, this is so cool. It's like neon lights and stuff. Like it looks like literally in Tokyo. And I, talked to him. I was like, hey, is it cool if we shoot here for free? And you can use the footage to promote your new space, because it wasn't available for rental. So I thought, you could promote your space while, we could play around and do our own thing. So we shot that in one day with the help of Bruce Inaba, Michael Hell, Ryu Minami. They're very talented, like in sword choreography. So wherever we're trying to do something, we're always surrounded by great talent like that. So it's not just us. But yeah, we just freestyled the choreography, come up with the fight beats, and for like 2 hours, and then we would just shoot it bit by bit and just modify it a little bit each time. But yeah, that was really fun. I remember the day before we went to the mall, trying on different outfits, went to H&M, Uniqlo, and then we went to this K-pop store, and I saw this like long black jacket, like a BTS jacket. I was like, yo, Jay, you should definitely wear this. It's so shining. It's going to look good with the lighting. Yeah, it was just so random. But it's good to like keep doing things that are not planned, along with things that are very planned and scripted, so that whenever we're on set, we can easily adapt and become versatile. Yeah.
Really cool. I like that, really. There's a lot of effort you did put on that short, of course.
Yeah, I think, it was fun. It felt like a scene from Tekken, the video game. Yeah.
Tell me, Joseph, which of your short required a large number of performers, and how did you manage to handle the work?
I would say Twisting Tiger demanded a lot of performers. We had like a gang group fight, 2 gang group fights in the beginning, where it's like brawling style and a lot of like cussing and like taunting in between. So I think that was fun to choreograph, because I wanted to combine like narrative with the action, to prove myself with that type of choreography. And at the end, there's of course the group fight with Terrell versus all the gangsters. And that was really difficult because everyone had like a different stunt background and different experience. And somehow I had to like, everyone had their own different rhythm and timing. And so it was really hard to like, navigate. But of course I had help from Armand as a fight coordinator. He helped me with Afro Samurai Champloo. And so of course I had him back again. And to add some more, sugar and spice, I actually had Martial Club to help previs some of the final fight. Yeah. So Andy from Martial Club was also on set and helped Terrell with like a lot of the shapes, and was a good way for me to bounce back and forth ideas with and help manage the set. And just alone, his presence, like helped everyone just like, focus up, but it's difficult. Yeah. But we managed to pull it off. It just requires a lot of like patience with the blocking and rehearsal, and just keeping like a good mood on set, just like making sure that everyone's getting taken care of, everyone's input and creativity is listened to. I never want people to feel like a robot on set, like, oh, I need to do it this way. And I always leave the option for like, here's what I'm thinking, but what do you think? Like, maybe you can contribute. So I'm very open as a creative collaborator. I'm always looking for the best idea in the room. That's what I learned from Brad Allen. Best idea wins. And no matter what on set, it doesn't matter what you worked on beforehand, this or that. Like when we're on set, everyone's like an equal, you know. And I remember when I got into Shang-Chi, he wanted me to not feel intimidated at all. And he told everyone, like, please make Joseph feel comfortable and a part of the family. So I really appreciate that. And just like, there were a few times when I doubted myself, like, who am I to action design this sequence along with Chris Cowan, Vidan Tran, Young Lee, you know, from Gak Attack, like Vidan, like Jackie Chan's stunt team. I'm here with Jackie Chan's stunt team, like Andy Chang and all these people. And Zhao Wei, he played the bully from The Karate Kid. And that's like actually one of my favorite like modern Jackie Chan films. Yeah, I was tearing up when I was watching it in the theaters. And to collaborate with him, it was crazy. And Peng's team, Peng Zhang, he recently did the Marvels movie action design. So I was very intimidated, and Brad like messaged me. He was like, "You are a very intelligent filmmaker. You know, like action comedy that fits into the Marvel world, and you know, always respect my opinion. And you know, during meetings when we're like looking at previews together, going over the edits, we would go around the room like, what do you think? How would you tell the story? You know, and always calling me little brother and stuff, looked out for me. So I always want to channel that vibe to other people on my sets too. Like nobody should feel marginalized or anything like that. Like everyone should feel empowered on set. Yeah.
Really cool. Let's talk about some of your professional jobs. Shang-Chi was, of course, one of the biggest projects in which you have been part. Yeah. How were you hired for this movie?
I was hired through Marshall Club.
Actually. Okay. Yeah.
So at the time, I just finished wrapping Afro Samurai Champloo and still working at an office job. But Marshall Club was like filling me on everything that they were doing. And at the time, there was training Simu Liu, right, privately.
Yeah.
Trying to train him, give him like more screen fighting experience and kung fu experience in general. Because he's supposed to portray like a kung fu master, you know, and that they met up with Brad Allen and they're working under Brad Allen. And just like every training session, like Brad would ask them like, who should we hire to shoot some anime and kung fu sequences? And then they always kept bringing up my name, like Joseph Lee. And then Brad would be like, I'm thinking Chris Cowan. And then Marshall Club would like call me like, yo, we try to, you know, look out for you, man. Like we try to bring you up. He keeps mentioning Chris Cowan. I was like, oh man, Chris Cowan's so good. Like I'm nothing compared to him. Like he would just go with Chris Cowan. But thank you. Please keep bringing me up. And they kept messaging me and screenshotting conversations they had with Brad. And then they sent Brad my Kung Fu Tea commercial. And they sent a bunch of other fights that I did. And Brad like replied back, oh yeah, maybe he will be a good addition to the team. And then like Andy told me that, I was like, just maybe, like, I'm not going to get in. So after like a whole month when they're training Simu Liu, I didn't hear anything back about Brad's interest into having me on board. I was like, bro, like, damn. But good luck, guys. Like, good luck with Shang-Chi. And then Andy was like, oh man, we would feel a lot more confident if we had you on the team. This might be illegal, but screw it. I'm going to send you Brad Allen's email address and see what happens. I was like, oh, okay. So I spent like a couple days crafting like the perfect email for Brad Allen. And I had like an introduction, like, hi, I'm Joseph Lee. You know, I'm very much inspired by, you know, Scott Pilgrim and of course all the things he did with Jackie Chan. Who am I? And I'm just trying to expand upon what you're making, you know, how you're combining Western filmmaking with Eastern, you know, martial arts filmmaking. And, you know, here's some of my works that inspired by you, like Kung Fu Tea commercial, Pokemon Kung Fu, trying to combine visual effects with action storytelling. And I literally went to every comic book store in Northern Virginia, DC, and Maryland, and tried to find all the Shang-Chi old comic books because they were very rare. And it was like this heavy search. I was like searching through the comic book stores, and I collected like a whole stack of it. I bought it, and I put my camera on top of it, and I took a photo with my iPhone, and I captioned it, "I'm ready," and I sent that photo, attached that to the email that I crafted for him. And I sent it, boom, at like 3 p.m. or something like that, just waiting all day, waiting. And then all of a sudden, at like midnight or something like that, I had like an email tracker, and then it kept giving me notifications. So I'm like, what? It's going crazy. Like, it says your email was opened 12 times and like forwarded a bunch of times. So I clicked on it. Yeah, and it had like Brad Allen's like email address. I'm like, oh shit, like, yo, he's looking at my work. And then the next day he replied to my email. He said, Joseph, how can I not hire you? Like, are you DGA? Are you this and that? Are you in the union? I was like, oh my God, like, thank you, like, so-and-so. I was talking to him, and then later that week, his partner, dude, the names are like Mark Ginther. Okay. He was like the co-stunt coordinator working for Brad Allen. He like called me, and he was like, Joseph, are you in LA? I'm like, yeah. But I was living in Virginia at the time. Yeah. It was like, we're very impressed by your work, and we're thinking that you can help assist shoot for us for 2 weeks doing previs for Shang-Chi. I was like, oh, it would be an honor. Like, yes. It's like, yeah, are you able to come on this day? And you can go to an Airbnb with Marshall Club. And I was like, yes, definitely, right away. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, here's the date. And so I talked to my boss. I was like, please, this is a once in a lifetime chance. Can I take off work to work on this opportunity? They're like, yeah, good luck. Go ahead. And so I flew myself down and stayed in the Airbnb with Marshall Club. And we were all so excited. And Andy was like, yo, welcome to the Shang-Chi action team. I was like, yeah. And we were so excited. And the night before going to the Disney studio to work on the previs, we were like choreographing and recording on photo booths on our laptop, different ideas for like the bus fight. And what would Jackie do? Jackie would do this and that. And we were just like brainstorming so many ideas so that we could come prepared on the day to work on Shang-Chi. So I remember, we were driving up there. We went through the security gate and the other gate behind the security gate. And then we parked the car, and I saw like a giant warehouse. And on the entrance, there was Brad Allen with like his sunglasses and Andy Chang wearing sunglasses as well. Yeah. Like, oh my God, these are my heroes. I watched them from Jackie Chan, my stunts. Jackie Chan, who am I? Like, oh my God, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to say. Like, so nervous, like palms sweaty, everything.
Can understand.
And then like,
and
then like, it's just like,
to work with these
from like, doing like backyard YouTube stuff to like working with the best. And so Marshall Club came out, and they're like, yo, and then like they hugged, Andy and Brad Allen. I was just 10 feet away, like, what should I do? And then like Andy Chang like was like pointing at me, and then he was like asking everyone, oh, is he the one? Is he the one? And then Brad was like, yes, he must be the one. I was like, no, Jet Li's the one. Because,
from the movie,
and then Brad was like, ha, and then like walked away. I was like, oh shoot.
Because it was from
this is the wrong camp. Yeah, I was like, oh shit. And then I went up to Andy Chang. Shook his hand, like, oh, honored to meet you. And then as we're walking to the warehouse, like he grabbed my hand and we're holding hands together and walking to the entrance because he could feel my nervous energy. He just wanted to calm me down. It's like, oh, welcome. Yeah, I watched your short, like Afro Ninja. That was pretty good. I was like, oh, thank you. Yeah. He's like, you have something to show me? I was like, yeah. And I put up my laptop as we're walking and I was trying to show him, like, he's like, yeah, I remember watching that. Yeah, don't worry. We'll go inside. Yeah. And so I went inside and then I saw two guys stretching at the entrance. They're all wearing all black. And then it was like Jaquan and Brian Sloyer.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, these guys, you know, the indie filmmaking.
Super talented
guys. But yeah, I saw them and they were just stretching. And I was like, oh, hey, like they try to say hi and they're like, they're just like watching me. I think they did like a slight head nod, but I was like, oh shit, kind of intimidating. So I came in, you know, everyone like kind of like was in a circle and I didn't know what to do. And I remember I was on the phone call with Mark Ginther and I was like, should I bring my camera? Should I prepare anything? Like, should I study something? And then Mark Ginther was like, we're just trying to see what you'll bring to the table. I was like, what? That's it? Like, what? So just came there, and I remember the night before I did like some storyboards at the bus fight to show them my different skills. But like when I got there, you know, Chris Cowan and everyone was just like grouped together, and then we went to the bus inside the warehouse, and already just like that, okay, maybe I was like, whoa, he's like just making up the choreography like Hong Kong style, like in front of our eyes, and just getting right into it. This is amazing. There's Chris Cowan was watching and figuring out the camera angles, and just everyone was like already doing stuff and figuring stuff out. However, I was like on the sidelines. I was like, oh, I'm not being asked to do anything. Like, why am I here? This is weird, but happy to be here. But I want to prove myself. You know, I was like really eager to make an impression on Brad. And because I wanted to stay on for the rest of the movie, you know, I didn't just want to be there for 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought this was like a make it or break it type situation. Like, oh, if I don't impress him now, then I'm just going to go back to Virginia and just, you know, keep doing YouTube videos and working at my desk job.
Yeah.
Office job.
Yes.
And so we went to Poke for lunch, eating Japanese food and stuff. And then I remember Andy Lee from Marshall Club, he was like, yo, you should sit next to Brad Allen. I was like, no, what? No, you should go sit next to him. He's like, no, you should go sit next to him out of all the people. And then so I was like, screw it. Like, now's the time. And then all the stunt guys, you know, they had their own like kids table or whatever. And so I just sat next to Brad, like just boom, went for it. Sat next to Brad and Mark Ginther just to show like, oh, you know, I'm confident, you know, I can hang with these people. And Brad was like, he said like, you know, Joseph, what I like about you make a lot of different things. And he said like, I really liked Pokemon Kung Fu. I was like, oh wow, thank you. And I couldn't wait to tell my friends back at home, like Brad Allen, like Pokemon Kung Fu the most. And so I was also sitting with D.Y. Sal at the same table. And I got to really thank him because he really vouched for me. He was like, hey, you guys know that Joseph also draws storyboards? And then they're like, oh, you do? And then one of the other fight coordinators, Peng Zhang, was like, oh, show me some of your storyboards. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I already storyboarded some of the bus fight, as you can see. And then they're like, oh, pretty good. And so we went back to the studio and they started pre-visiting even more. And I was just like, yet again, waiting there, sitting next to Brad Allen. And then he sent me some of the visual effects pre-visualizations that the company Third Floor was working on. And this was like the mother's powers from the movie, you know, but at the same time didn't want it to look like The Last Airbender. So they're trying to develop a unique look for her Tai Chi special power abilities. And so I was tasked by Peng Zhan to come up with some storyboards that would show, you know, different moves that she would do, like in the air, doing this move. And so I would take videos of him demonstrating some Tai Chi movements and then trying to incorporate that into some key fight moments in my storyboard. Yeah. And so I did it, and I was literally drawing next to Brad Allen, like as fast as I could, and like using all of my knowledge from drawing since I was a little kid into this moment right here, like this Tai Chi pose and this and that, and just trying to show off to him, like, look, I'm fast and I'm very responsive. I ask for feedback. There's no ego here. And so the next day, the visual effects company came in, Third Floor, and I presented them the storyboards from my laptop. I was like, oh, I was thinking, you know, since, you know, we're doing this Tai Chi thing and then we could add to this and that. And they were like, oh, wow. And I felt like Brad was very proud to have a storyboard artist in his stunt team. You know, he's always trying to find something different to add to a stunt, like more visual effects and stuff like that. That's why he has Chris Cowan on board. Yeah, he's always, and I was told, like, he always hires outside of Hollywood and gives people a chance, just like how Jackie Chan gave him a chance, you know, him being the first like foreign disciple. Because I remember Andy Chang told me that they actually discovered Brad Allen like in Australia, right? And then Brad gave him like that like a CD or something, or a VHS tape of some of like his demo reel, and that's how kind of like Brad became a part of the team. So I think Brad wanted to carry on that tradition of hiring people outside and giving them a chance, opening the gates to them, and adding something new and diverse, you know, to the team. And he always emphasized like to tell the story, and you know, stunt people shouldn't just focus on just like technique and doing all these like just cool moments. Like, we also have to reinforce what the script is talking about. And I remember I got early versions of this script for Shang-Chi, and early versions of the storyboard for Shang-Chi, and Brad wanted me to make even better versions of the storyboard with what we're doing with the previs and so on. And it was cool though, but I didn't just want to be a part of the team as someone who draws. I wanted to get in there, be a part of the action, shoot action, and help choreograph and so on. And so after a week or like a couple of days, Chris Cowan was there, and he was tasked to shoot the mom and dad fight. And so Mark Genther went up to me. He was like, Joseph, so we need someone to shoot the bus fight with Andy. Do it? I was like, yes, I've been waiting for this. And I already had my camera bag there. I'm like, yeah, I'm down. He's all right, you shoot tomorrow. And I was like, oh, shoot. All right. I just need to relax and be confident. And I remember like when Chris Cowan was shooting the bus, you know, he's so big and tall. He was like bumping into corners and stuff. And then he's like, oh. And then like Brian Lay from Martial Club was like, Joseph can fit in there. Joseph can shoot it. And it's like everyone was already like vouching for me. So I really appreciate them planning the idea. Yeah. So yeah, I was shooting the bus fight with Andy Chang. And initially it felt like two different groups. You know, there was the Martial Club group sticking with more of like the Jackie Chan style and like traditional like Kung Fu shapes. And there was also the other LA indie stunt style with Jay Kwan, Brian Sloyer, Jerry Quill, Shy, and they were adding something new too. And it was very interesting for these two styles to blend and collaborate together, because we made something new. And it was cool. Like, Andy was very demanding, always wanted 110%. And just, he's like the hardest worker I've ever met. And
That's true.
yeah, but it was very explorative. Like, one day we would lean into more action comedy, Jackie Chan. Next day we would want more lethal, like Donnie Yen style. And it was up to us to try to find something new within that. And I wanted to stick with like what the story was telling. You know, we're talking about someone who trained to be like a killer, you know, to assassinate, you know, under his father. And so he's put into this situation where he's showing his kung fu skills for the first time in public when he wanted to be discreet. So how did he want to do that, you know? So initially he was fighting, and I wanted to show him fighting without, you know, being lethal. Like, he would be like doing his old training techniques and then like hold back last minute, like, oh shit, like I'm about to kill this guy, but I don't want to, you know, I'm a new man now. So I really like exploring that dilemma in the character. And Jay Kwan, of course, played Shang-Chi in the previs.
Yes.
And just, yeah, it was really fun. And for the first time, I was on wires as I was holding the camera. I was like outside the bus, you know, to get the high angle on the wire, while Jay Kwan was on the wire and trying to like, you know, climb on the bus and stuff like that. And I remember Mark Ginther, he was doing the wire rigging and pulling. He was like, Joseph, you know how to shoot this? I'm like, I know. Police story. Because like the same thing with like Jackie Hangover. I was like, oh, I already know, you know? So it's really fun. Brian, of course, played Razor Fist in the bus. And, you know, always making me laugh while we're working. And there was one time when I was like trying to call for action. I was like, 3, 2, 1. Damn. Like, and then I broke because Brian was making like a goofy face behind Andy Chang. I was like, dang it. And I told Brian during lunch, I was like, Brian, you're going to get me fired, man. He's like, sorry. It was so fun. And I had to tell you, like, I've never worked. This is probably the hardest I've ever worked in my whole entire life. It was shooting all day, and then right away when we shooting all morning, and then during lunch I would be editing and adding visual effects and stuff like that. And meanwhile, Martial Club, they were making me a sandwich, and then they were like feeding me when I was like working and doing sound design. Say air, and then like Brad would come back from lunch, and I had to like show him what we made with the sound and everything. Everything had to be perfectly like framed. And then Andy Chang would voice messages. Can you add this visual effect and this and that? You know? And so I would do that, and I'd work up until like 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. Wake up, and then we would go to train Simu Liu screen fighting from like 7 to 8:30 or something like that. And then go to work at 9 and just like, but at the same time when we're shooting Simu, after each training session, we would shoot a test fight with him, like a practice fight on our phones. And so this was a way for us to pitch our own ideas to Brad Allen. Look what we can do with Simu. Like, what if we do this in the bus fight later on, you know? And I remember we would finish shooting with Simu at like 8:30, and then we would get in the car and drive to the studio for the previs. And I'm like literally editing in the car ride and adding sound effects and stuff like that to present to Brad. And it was crazy. And I would always hear like side talks of like Andy Chang and Brad Allen talking about, oh, we don't have enough budget to hire everyone to bring them to Australia for the rest of the run. I was like, what? And then I heard like, oh, with like the price of like one US stuntman, you can hire like 10 Chinese people or something like that. It's like, damn, am I gonna make the cut? Like, so I really had to try my best to impress, show them what I got. And then at the end, I remember there was the California forest fire, right? And then, so we had to cancel the last few days of the previs. I was like, what? No, I had all these great ideas. I can't prove myself now. And because of the fires, we couldn't shoot anymore and we had to postpone. But then Brad Allen called me and he was like, he wanted me to make an animatic and storyboard of the rest of the bus fight. I was like, okay, yeah, I can definitely do that. But Brad Allen was going to go on the plane to go to Australia. And he said when he landed, he wanted to show the Marvel producers something, like a complete previs of the bus fight. So it was a lot of pressure. And yet again, I was back at home, drawing my ass off, doing the animatic with Young Lee. He helped a lot with the animation. And sent it to him, the night before he flew back to Australia. And then he told me later on that I passed the test.
Okay.
And that I was going to go to Australia with the core stunt team. And I was going to go to Australia with Chris Cowan, Vidan, and all those other guys. And when I went there, I went there first without Marshall Club because there wasn't enough budget. I went there, I felt alone. I was like the only action designer there for like a week and a half before Chris Cowan and so on arrived. And I was there with the Chinese stunt team and they all spoke Chinese. And it's hard for me to understand and, ride with their wave. But I still try my best, communicated just by gestures and movement. And they could tell that I was nervous. So they started calling me Joe Shifu, like Joseph, but adding the Shifu at the end. And just like, oh, Shifu. Yeah, I was like, no, don't call me that. Don't call me that. Don't do that. And, but yeah, they were very friendly, super hardworking, super nice. And after I was shooting the montage fight scenes of the Mandarin, the opening fights, of how like the Mandarin, the father got the rings, but yeah, it's quite the experience.
It was really interesting. And hopefully we can see a sequel for the movie. It's a tradition in my show to talk about Hong Kong cinema. So since it is a reference for many movie makers, how or what did attracted you in this genre of Hong Kong cinema, especially the 80s and 90s martial art movies?
Yeah, so I got into Hong Kong cinema with Jackie Chan. I remember watching Rumble in the Bronx for the first time when I was a kid in the 90s and feeling really empowered because I was the only Asian kid in school. I was getting picked on and bullied a lot. And I was always the weakest, slowest in PE class, physical education.
Yeah.
But after watching Rumble in the Bronx, I remember the scenes of him running away, from the gang, like making that sound. And I would run like Jackie Chan and make that sound in PE. Because I remember people used to lap me all around. And I would always like pretend they're the gangsters from Rome, the Bronx. And I'll be faster. And I would go into school and someone would pick on me and tease me. But in my head, I would like daydream and imagine me beating them up in class, And then I would imagine myself protecting myself and, saving the girl. I had always had a crush in class. I imagined like me protecting her and her being wowed by my amazing fight skills. And one time like a teacher like took a piece of paper, put it into a ball and like threw it at me, like, wake up. And I would always have a bad habit of escaping reality through my dreams. And, but yeah, just every day when I come home, I would just try to search on LimeWire to download like Jackie Chan movies and Jackie Chan clips. And later on, I would be like, oh, who's this fat guy always appearing in Jackie Chan movies? I like him a lot. Sammo Hung and then Yuen Biao. I started like going to their movies, like watching Prodigal Son, Magnificent Butcher and all that, just through like LimeWire. And I remember I was so into Hong Kong cinema that I changed my wallpaper to like Chinese characters and Jackie Chan wallpapers, like going like this and stuff. And I was so into my daydreaming in this, dreaming about being in the movies, that, every new year I told people like I was part Chinese and that I knew Kung Fu, even though I didn't. And so that they could like, be of some type of reverence to me, like, oh, don't mess with him. He knows Kung Fu.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, but I ended up showing a little bit too much off during PE, doing like some Kung Fu movements I learned from the movies. And then I stopped doing that once I started learning real Kung Fu in 2005. But yeah, Hong Kong cinema was very inspiring. But the one thing that really inspired me was Jackie Chan, My Stunts, which I remember I downloaded on LimeWire. Yeah, and I was like, wow, he's showing like all of these secrets, and this is so amazing. And at the end, I remember the last clip of him saying like, now you know my style, Jackie Chan style. Maybe you can copy a little bit of me, but I hope you one day develop your own style. I felt like he was literally talking to me. I was like, wow, okay, one day I will make Jackie Chan proud and, develop my own style. And I remember I would always bring that up to Andy Chang and Brad Allen, how significant Jackie Chan My Stunts was. And I think that's the one thing that really set it off.
Yeah, that's so inspiring. Yeah. Tell me, Joseph, what is your three top Hong Kong films, action or else?
Top three Hong Kong films? Yeah. I would say Drunken Master 2, definitely best final fight of all time. And the movie where Jackie Chan was really put into the ringer and just like put against the wall and really he went all out on this one. I cried so many times watching it. And so Drunken Master 2, Drunken Master 1, if I feel like Karate Kid copied the formula to that later on.
That's true, yes.
Yeah. Wheels on Meals.
Yeah, good one. Especially that final fight scene of Jackie Chan and Benny Urquidez was one of the most iconic fight scenes in Hong Kong cinema. Of course, Sammo Hung did the fight choreography and action design.
Yeah. I remember I modeled my hairstyle in high school to be like Jackie, like that. But yeah, I love SPL as well. Donnie Yen, so cool. Yeah.
It's good franchise, of course. I love it also. Of course, tell me, Joseph, I have an interesting question for you. If you got the chance to choreograph or fight coordinate one of the martial art movie stars from present or past, dead or alive, who's gonna be?
To choreograph?
Yeah.
Damn. Jackie Chan, definitely. Yeah. But I would go more so the foreigner route. Yeah. And really show like him being fatigued and struggling to fight with his age and so on. And like I would try to like flip all of the Jackie Chan tropes. I would, he would see a chair and try to do something with that chair, but it fails. And then he has to like compensate for that and adjust. And really use more so of his head and cleverness, more so than his like physical prowess. Because I love The Foreigner. Like I thought it was great. There's some moments where he did like a drop kick and then like kept up afterwards. I was like, come on, like he's like a 60-year-old. Like he wouldn't do that in a forest fight. He would get up naturally.
Did you see the way he performed that keep up? It was really for his age, it was really outstanding.
Yeah, but I felt like that didn't need to be in that particular movie, you know? And I really enjoyed his fight in The Karate Kid too, when he was making the kids fight themselves. I thought it was genius. So I would definitely love to gather an all-star team to choreograph something new for Jackie. I think just the Jackie Chan style, in my opinion, it's not just like using the environment and being action comedy. I feel like the Jackie Chan style has always been to innovate, you know, and set the new standard. Like when he was doing action comedy, he veered into doing more like stunts and then more stuff like Police Story. And he kept pivoting, you know, when everyone tried to copy him. So just trying to find the next, you know, thing. I don't know. That and maybe Jet Li.
Yeah, Jet Li, of course,
Yeah.
of course, one of the iconic names.
Yeah.
Tell me, Joseph, you know, your journey was full of achievements, of course. Those achievements didn't come up randomly. There have been a lot of practice, takes, processing, training, failure, repetitions. This diverse journey made you what you are now, and made a lot of success in your career. What is your piece of advice for for beginners or anyone who desires to get involved in movie making?
Yeah. I would say my biggest advice right now is to just create your own secret YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Something that you can have fun, play around with, experiment, you know, take all the risks that you want without just being judged so much. Because I feel like content creation now, as opposed to beforehand, a lot of people are scared to make big
yeah,
risks, and
indeed, yeah.
you know,
They're
but we need
afraid
to
of
practice.
criticism all the time.
Yeah, but we need to practice failing a lot more often and getting more critical feedback from our peers instead of being scared of being canceled or whatever. So I feel like having a secret YouTube channel and just making something for yourself every week. You know, it
Yeah,
doesn't have to be the same thing, but at least you're doing something to push something out there. Practicing uh, execution, something that you thought up of, and just bringing it out to the world and getting feedback. But I would always also recommend having a journal, just
okay.
writing everything, being very self-aware. I feel like I didn't truly become a director until I started doing this, reflecting what I'm going through, uh, writing what happened today, and then making like a short story based on what happened that day. And then, oh, this short story kind of correlates to this movie that I love. Let me study that movie a little bit more. And then I study the movie that inspired that movie, and I try to find uh, the parallels between the things that I love with the things that I'm personally going through. So therefore, when I'm creating, I have a little bit more motivation to
Yeah,
express myself, right? This
yeah,
is a piece of my soul. It's not just to impress others or to look cool. It's me trying to prove my own thesis of my own life, and also prove a thesis in terms of like what I see film should do more of, you know. But yeah, that's like me right now. I'm trying to find the bridge between great storytelling, like very personal storytelling, with great action. And I always like hear people saying like, "Oh, I really love that movie's action, but the story was bad. Oh, I love the story of this, but the action sucks." So I really want to formulate that bridge. I think more people are doing that in Hollywood and everywhere else, but just want to do it my own way. And I feel like I have a really unique background in terms of working on with like tech companies and startup companies, and seeing how that can apply to indie
yeah,
filmmaking too, in the way that they always try to innovate, and how they organize their teams in such a like a rapid paced environment. I think uh, traditional filmmaking can definitely learn from that as well. Because I've been on like big movie productions and sets, but the way they operate and stuff like that, it's so antiquated, and they're figuring it out all on email and Word documents and stuff. I'm like, there's a way better way for all these departments to communicate with each other in real time. And so with my own films, I'm always trying to investigate new project management software and ways of communicating my vision to other people. I recently wrapped a horror short film, no action at all, but in terms of, it's like the same prep that I do for an action film. Like I communicate through previs, just like focusing on more of like a fluid way of developing a story instead of like script, storyboards, shooting. Like everything has to go together. Like even the music composer should input ideas during the scripting process and stuff like that. So, at the same time, I'm trying to tell my own story, but I'm also trying to inspire other people within my team and my crew that there's a better way to making things with like a low budget and making it like look like something higher budget, higher quality. Sorry, that was long-winded.
No, it's okay. Yes, I'm really pleased that you were able and really happy to share your ideas, your vision, your philosophy with others. I really respect that. Yeah, thank you too.
Yeah.
Okay, Joseph, tell me how to follow you on the social media.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at JosephLay_art. And you can follow my team's page at Team Red Pro. Just Google Team Red Pro, probably find us. The YouTube channel, please subscribe.
Of course, I'm already subscribing, and of course, others will be subscribing for you, of course.
I promise to show more videos on how to create your own independent projects. I learned a lot of lessons beforehand, filming in LA, and I just want to share that knowledge to people for free, because I'm at the point now where like, I want to contribute more to the community, and appreciate you having me on this podcast so I can share more.
It's a great pleasure, brother, and you did a plus and a good addition for my show with your knowledge and philosophy, as I mentioned before.
Yeah, it's an honor. Yeah, I'm intimidated by the last people you interviewed. So
it's a great pleasure, brother. You deserve to be part, of course, of this concept, and it's a great pleasure for me having you.
Thank you. Yeah,
thank you,
I'm
brother.
A fan,
and take care of yourself, Joseph. It's been a great pleasure having you on the podcast, on the Indie Talks.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I wish you all the best in your career. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, man. Likewise.
Bye, brother.
Have a good one.
Have a good one. See you.
Yes.